Hello guys, welcome to Good Do Micro Projects. Kindly check this application out. When I say 5 and say check, it tells me 5 is an odd number. Likewise, when I say 8, check, it tells me 8 is an even number. Great. In this video, we're going to develop this using React, hooks, and Redux. If you want to type along with me, kindly install the following: npm install Redux, 2 npm install React Redux, and 3 npm install Redux DevTools extension. With all said and done, let's begin. Thank you very much. Let's begin by creating 3 folders in our SRT folder. So go there, create a folder, and call it assets. Create another folder and call it component. Create another folder and call it Redux. Now let's take the first one, assets. Now with the assets, we deal with the images we're going to use in this application. But in this application, we're not going to use any images, so we'll just leave it blank. I'll go to the next one, components. Now, with the components, let's create another folder and name it OddEven folder. Now, inside that OddEven folder, let's create a file and call it OddEven.js. Good. Now with our boilerplate, instead of ordinary div, why don't we make it react to a fragment? Good. Now inside that, we can say h2 tag and say hello. Okay, so next we link that to the app.js to view on the screen. So we say OddEven. So we import it. It has been imported for us already. So that is that. We check our screen to see how it's doing. Great. So we are hello on the screen. So we are ready to go. Now let's look at the structure. Good. Now with the structure, what we're going to do is let's create. We have the body, then we have a header here, then let's give it a body. Let's give it a body, something like this. And last one is going to be the footer. Okay, so we have header, body, and footer. Now inside the body, let's create a button. Okay, so we click the button this way. So when I click the button, the message appears down here, whether it is odd or even number. So over here, input button is just to enter the number, and it's going to tell us whether it's odd or even number. So that is that with the page. But with the page setup, what we're going to do is, since we want to work in the middle region, we make the first 4 columns empty so we can get access to the middle region. So it's going to be 4, 4, 4, 4, so we can get access to the middle region. So that is that with a page setup. So that is that with us. So we can begin. Good. So to begin with, let's go to our, you can close this out.js. Good. Take the hello and create our div. So we say, so we say div, give it a class name, we'll call it row. Good. So inside that row, create another div, class name, and call it call md4. Okay. So we copy that twice since we're gonna make the first one empty. So we're gonna work with the second one, which gives us the middle region. So inside that, we create a div and give it the class name and call it card. Now inside the card, what do you want? We need another div with a class name, and let's call that card header. Okay, so we copy that 2 more times to get the body and the footer. So we say the second one is going to be the body, and next one is going to be the footer. Okay, so that is that. Now let's take the first one, body, the header. Sorry, header. So with the header, what we're going to do, let's create an h2 tag and give the header a name odd slash get even number app. Okay, so that is that for the header. So down with the header, next is to go to the body. Now with the body, what do? Let's create a form. So we say we need a form, and in the form we need 2 inputs. So we need 2 inputs. So let's create a group for them. So we say div, give it a class name, and call it form group. Sorry, form group. So I just copy. Yeah, good. Now the first input is going to be our number. So we say input. Now inside that input, what do you want? Let's give it a type and call it number. Then let's give it a class name and call it form control. Then we give it a placeholder and call it enter your number. So that is that with the input. So next is the second one, which is going to be our submit. So that one too, let's call it input okay, let's give it a type. It's going to be submit. Then the class name is going to be form control. Okay. Then the value, let's give it check. Okay. So that is that. We can check our screen, see how it's doing. Now we need to make our form inline so that the button can be a par with the input field. So let's go to the form. Okay, then we give it the class name. We give it the class name and we call it form inline. Good. Let's check it out. Great. So now let's make it centered. So we say justify content center. Then our card 2. We can make our card 2 test center. So everything can be centered. So that is that we have it. So next thing to do is to give, how do you call it, give some margin top to the whole card. Okay, so to do that we say at the card we say empty margin top 5. Then we go to our row 2 and say empty 5. Good. So next is to bolden everything and add some colors. Okay, so we say, give it the class name here and say font weight bold. Okay, so we copy that. So form say class name font weight bold. Same thing. So that is that. Let's check it out. The H2 is just too big. Let me make it H3. So we say H3. Good. How about this? Yeah, I think that's cool. Now let's add some colors. So we say go to our CSS and we give card header. Let's give the background color of hash 5AAEF6. So that is that. Let's do likewise for the body too. We say card body, give it a background color of hash 574702. So that is that. Good. Next is our button. So we say btn send. Let's give it background color of hash 03982. Then give it a color of white smoke. Then make the border none. Okay. So now let's add the name btn send to the button. That's a class name. Okay. So we go to the class name. Where are you? Get class name, add it to it, btn send. So now let's check our screen. Great. So that is what we have so far. So next thing we do, we're going to work on the footer later. Okay. So next thing to do is to bind the inputs. Okay. So how to do that? we import use state. Okay, so we say import React, use state from React. That is that. So next we can now say that let what number, set number be equal to use state, then into bar we have our num. Okay, let's call it num with a value empty. Okay, so let's see how to bind our inputs. So let me just say, call it bind input. Okay, now to bind the input, we need to give our inputs a name. So we go to the, how do you call it, the inputs, the number inputs. Let me give it a name. Call it, let's call it num. And we need to give it a value. Let's call it number dot num. Then an onChange, which we're gonna call, let's call it that handle change. Okay, good. So now we create a function for handle change. We'll just copy that, take it to the top, and we say let handle change be equal to a function, okay, where we're going to say set number should be equal to, into bracket, we're going to what, give us the number back. Okay, comma, then make the event dot target dot name, name with the value event dot target dot value. Okay, we need to put our event here. Good. So that is that. So our input field is binded. So to test that out, I can give a pre-tag here. Okay, sorry, I say pre-tag. Let's call pre-tag that we call JSON. Okay, so we say JSON dot stringify to brackets number. Let's check that on the screen. Let's check that out. So when I see 3, where's the 3? The 3 should be in the box, in the input field. Let's check it out. I think something is wrong somewhere. Let's check it out. Let's go to our name. Name is num. Okay, value is number dot num. Oh, sorry. This number dot this should be in a curly bracket. Okay, it's not a string. Good. So that is that. Let's check it out again. If I say 3, good, we have our 3. Good. I say send. Good. So our our submit button is also working. So that is that. I think we're ready for Redux.